David M. from the Kaspersky Lab is joining me on Skype. Now, he's going to unpack a study that found 14% of South Africans actually cover up the webcam on their computer because they're afraid that people might be spying on them. David, why is this?
Well, I think actually people are becoming generally more aware of the fact that the devices that they're using are potentially open to abuse. So I think it's partly because the sort of message has gradually got out there that people need to be a little bit wary about what they're doing, particularly when they're online.
Now, is this something people should fear, people spying on them through their webcams?
Well, it's certainly people should be aware of it. I mean, it's not a purely theoretical kind of threat. I mean, we have seen attacks of this kind before where people have abused webcams or even abuse things like baby monitors as well if they're connected, via somebody's router to the internet. So definitely it's a real threat. I don't think people need to panic. They just need to be aware of the fact that this can happen, and that if somebody is able to get malware onto their device, it potentially is able to control all of the devices that are connected to that computer.
All right, well, can you give us an example where you've seen someone hack a webcam or baby monitor?
Yes, certainly. I mean, if we go back just a few months ago to May of this year, actually, Europol mounted an investigation into a hacker that was using malware to compromise the webcams of about 2,000 people, and this was an operation out of Amsterdam, so it was certainly based here in Europe. Going back slightly earlier, a couple of years, we saw a variant of the spy banking Trojan, which was also able to use the webcam in order to try to pick up information that maybe people leave on their desk, in terms of maybe passwords they write down and things like that. So it is a real threat.
That seems scary, that the things I leave on my desk are useful to people who can hack my computer.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is actually the view from your webcam, so to speak, is a window into the physical world. So if you've left something confidential in view, then it can be read. And the same is true, by the way, of the microphone. If the microphone is active, then obviously things that you're saying in a room, could be at home, could be at work, are also open to being captured by somebody.
So even if you cover that webcam, you're still exposed via your microphone?
Well, you certainly could be, yeah, for sure.
All right.
For sure.
Now we're talking about webcams. Does this also apply to cameras on mobile phones?
Well, it does, although, I can't think of any actual specific threats that have affected sort of everyday people, consumers, people like you and me. I mean, we've certainly seen what falls into the category of what we would call legal spyware. These are monitoring tools which get used by all sorts of government or police organizations for monitoring suspects. Certainly they have the capability of doing that on mobile devices as well. So it is a possibility, but I would say on the mobile devices, it's not really something that is yet mainstream. But I would say that, again, people just need to be aware of it and, think about the fact that, that it does have a camera, and some of these smartphones have cameras front and back. And therefore, if you are doing anything sensitive, it's probably best to keep it out of sight, so to speak. If you can't see it, it can't see you.
Now, how do we protect ourselves when it comes to people accessing our information through our webcams and microphones?
Well, I think one of the key things here is that if people are going to be doing this, they're going to be using malware, malicious software to do it. So the primary thing that people need to think about doing is defending their device, with anti-malware protection. And if they're doing that and the malware can't get onto the device in the first place, then they don't have that foothold from which to use devices like webcams or the microphone. So it's about protecting your computer. It's also about making sure that you apply those security patches when Microsoft or application vendors make them available.